stage, please occupy the front rows. It's again announcement for you all. Please accompany for front rows of the stage. Juniors.
Same 16 years. Same system. Speaker. Output of step. ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಬಾಟ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಗಾರ್ಡನ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ನೋಡಿ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
I request all the students, those who are standing outside the auditorium, kindly occupy the front seats as early as possible. The dignitaries are about to arrive. I request all, please come inside the auditorium and occupy. Thank you. I request all the staff members, students, and all the faculties to kindly come inside the auditorium and occupy the seats as early as possible. The program is about to start and all the dignitaries had already arrived. I request you all to come as early as possible and occupy the seats. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಸಾಂಗ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ.
Good morning, all. I request all the scientists, staff members, and all the faculties, and also the students to come inside the auditorium and occupy the front rows as early as possible. The program is about to start. Please all come early and come inside the auditorium. Those who are standing outside, I request you all, please come inside the auditorium and occupy the seats. Good morning, all. I request all the scientists, staff members, and all the faculties, and also the students to come.
I request all the students to please occupy the front rows of the auditorium. And I also request all the staff members, the faculty and non-faculty members to please be seated. The guests are arriving. We'll be shortly starting the program. Hello. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಅನ್ನಾದ್ ಭವಂತಿ ಭೂತಾನಿ ಪರ್ಜನ್ಯಾದ ಅನ್ನ ಸಂಭವಃ. ಯಜ್ಞಾದ್ ಭವತಿ ಪರ್ಜನ್ಯಃ ಯಜ್ಞಃ ಕರ್ಮ ಸಮುದ್ಭವಃ. In these four profound lines, the Bhagavad Gita encapsulates the main essence of life. It says, all the living beings depend on food, and food depends on rain, and rain comes from yajna. Yajna doesn't mean the mere ritual fire offerings, but it is the selfless action done for the better good of the society. So this yajna is born from the duties we choose to honor. In the world of agricultural science, where we do all belong, this yajna takes on a new form. That is, the experiments what we conduct, the ideas we share, and the innovations we nurture. These are our offerings to the fire of knowledge. From them flows the rain of opportunity, the harvest of solutions, and the nourishment for the society. So now, as we open the Science Week 2025, let us remember the work what we do here is a part of this eternal cycle. We are not just the participants in the symposium, we are the custodians of a legacy that feeds the whole world. So, with this spirit, Namaste, I Kirtana Nayak from the Department of Genetics and Plant Breeding, pursuing my master's, welcome you all to this Science Week 2025. I heartily welcome the distinguished dignitaries, eminent scientists, faculty members, non-faculty members, the PG students, and my fellow researchers to the inaugural day of Science Week 2025, the 12th PG Symposium celebrated in the Diamond Jubilee year of the University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. I heartily welcome each one of you. So, over the next 4 days, this arena will echo with the discussions arising across the 5 thematic domains from the crop production, crop protection, crop improvement, food science and technology, and social sciences. So, now let's begin the Science Week 2025, the festival of scientific ideas, by having a look at the short documentary movie about the Science Symposium. Please do have a look.
Settled in the heart of India's Silicon Valley lies an institution where science meets soil and knowledge grows like the crops it helps cultivate. The University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore, UASB, is a pioneer in agricultural education, research, and extension. Established in 1964, it has played a transformative role in shaping India's green revolution and continues to lead in addressing the challenges of sustainable agriculture, food security, and rural development. From its sprawling GKVK campus, UASB has nurtured generations of scientists, educators, and policy makers, individuals who have left an indelible mark across India and the world. And among its many academic traditions, one stands out: an annual celebration of scientific pursuit and scholarly excellence of PG students. Every year, at the heart of the GKVK campus, a tradition unfolds of scientists, educators, and policy makers in pursuit of knowledge. This is the UASB PG Science Week, a distinguished academic symposium that has, since 2014, stood as a vital platform for postgraduate researchers. Here, they share their stories of science, of persistence, and of discovery.
The PG Science Week is a unique event organized by this university, wherein the students are presenting their dissertation work, and it also helps the students for cross-disciplinary approach, where the students can also understand and appreciate the work of interdisciplinary scientific temperament of the students. Further, the students are also able to interact and also exchange whatever that they have generated out of their dissertation and make the presentations in front of all the disciplines, which give them a confidence and also which helps them to make a better understanding of their work for the benefit of other students also.
Born from the vision of the Directorate of Postgraduate Studies, the event has grown into one of the most respected gatherings among Indian agricultural universities. With its rigorous standards, unique agenda, and a spirit deeply rooted in scientific integrity. It has earned recognition as more than just a conference. It is a science festival.
Since its inception during the academic year 2014-15, the UASB Science Week has become an annual event of national repute.
Over the years, Science Week has been graced by some of India's most respected scientific minds. Professor M.R. Murthy, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore; Dr. U.R. Rao, Padma Vibhushan and Padma Bhushan awardee, former chairman of ISRO; Professor Balram, former director, Indian Institute of Science; Dr. S. Ayyappan, former Secretary, Agriculture Research and Education and Director General, ICAR, New Delhi; Professor S. M. Shivaprasad, Director, Academy of Higher Education; Dr. Deepak Pendal, former Vice Chancellor, University of Delhi; Dr. Subrai Hegde, Director, Biotechnology Risk Analysis Programs, USDA; Dr. K. Vijay Raghavan, FRS, former Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, former Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India; Professor L.S. Shashithara, Director, National Center for Biological Sciences, Bangalore; and Professor K.N. Ganeshaya, former Dean, Postgraduate Studies, UASB, and Fellow of the Indian Science Academy. Their words and their wisdom continue to guide and inspire the next generation. The symposium is anchored in three powerful themes: excitement in science, science for society, and opportunities in scientific agriculture. Each session is designed to ignite the minds of the PG students and strengthen the bridge between science and society. Since 2014, many distinguished alumni of UASB have returned to participate in the event, delivering invited talks, sharing insights, and engaging in enriching interaction sessions with students and faculty alike. Their presence continues to inspire and guide the next generation of researchers. In addition, the Directorate is organizing a special event on startups, where students will present their innovative ideas to a panel of experienced entrepreneurs. These ideas will be evaluated for their originality, feasibility, and impact, encouraging a culture of innovation and enterprise within the academic community. Over 4,500 postgraduate students have participated in and benefited from previous editions of the Science Week event. This year, in 2025, this landmark event enters its 12th year, coinciding with a monumental milestone, the Diamond Jubilee of the University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore.
I hope this PG Science Week will help the students to learn the scientific temperament and also the art of inquiry into the research. Let me wish all of them a good luck for their future.
To please come up on the stage. And I also request Dr. V.V. Belwadi sir to come up on the stage, and Honorable Vice Chancellor of UASB Bangalore and Registrar and Dean of Postgraduate Studies, Agri, College of Agriculture, GKVK. I request all these dignitaries to please come up on the stage and take the seats. Thank you. Now, I kindly request Dr. K.C. Narayan Swamy sir, the Registrar and Dean of Postgraduate Studies, to welcome the gathering with the opening remarks for Science Week 2025.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, respected Chief Guest, beloved keynote speaker, officers of UAS Bangalore faculty members, and my dear friends and students, good morning to each one of you. It is with great pleasure and honor that I extend a warm welcome to you on this momentous occasion, that is 12th edition of PG Science Week 2025. Today marks the beginning of the 4 enriching days of scientific engagement at the GKVK campus, dedicated to celebrating the research pursuits of PG students of UAS Bangalore and showcasing innovative ideas through dedicated startup competitions. We are deeply honored to welcome our esteemed guest, Dr. Agrawal sir, R.C. Agrawal sir, former Deputy Director General Education, ICR, New Delhi, to the 12th edition of UAS Bangalore. Dr. Agrawal was born on 1st June 1963 in Mathura, Uttar Pradesh, and has had illustrious academic and professional journey in the field of agriculture. He obtained his BSc from Agra University in 1983, followed by Master of Science in 1985 and a PhD in 1989 from IRI New Delhi. He later pursued a postgraduate diploma in intellectual property rights from the Indian Law University during 2007. His career spreads several key roles, including scientist at ICR, consultant at Food and Agriculture Organization, Rome, National Coordinator, NAIP, World Bank Component 1, Registrar General, PPV, FRA from 2011 to 19, and National Director, NAHEP 2019 to 24. He has, received several awards and honors for his outstanding contribution to the field of agriculture and particularly in the field of agricultural education. Among them, Rafi Ahmad Kidwai Award is the one of the most prestigious award for his outstanding contribution to the field of agricultural research. Digital India Award under the Open Data Champion category by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. This was presented by the Honorable President of India. Dr. B.R. Barwale Award, and he is the national convener of Roadmap for Implementation of National Education Policy in Agriculture during the year 2020-21. Dr. Agrawal sir currently serves as the member board of management and academic council of nearly 10 agricultural and deemed universities in the country. He is a member of Program Standing Committee on Social Sciences, UGC, New Delhi, and he is the fellow of National Academy of Sciences, and he was elected during 2021. His key research areas include biodiversity informatics, information management, intellectual property rights, farmer rights, and the most important one is agricultural education. He has contributed and he has revamped the total, agricultural education scenario in the country. On behalf of the university, sir, I extend a warm and respectful welcome to you, sir. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion on this day. We are honored to have with us today our keynote speaker, Professor V.V. Belawadi sir, an eminent entomologist who has served as a professor and head of the Department of Entomology and also as an eminent, ICR emeritus scientist. Professor Belawadi is widely recognized as a leading pollination biologist, with often taken for granted insect pollination is a vital regulatory ecosystem services fundamental to the reproduction of flowering plants. Pollinators play a crucial role in food system also, being directly responsible for nearly 1/3 of the food consumed by the human beings. We look forward to hearing his insights today. It is my pleasure to warmly welcome Professor Belawadi to the inaugural session of PG Science Week 2025. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor S.V. Suresha, holds a PhD in Agricultural Extension and has published numerous research papers With over 30 years of experience in teaching research extension in the field of agriculture, his visionary leadership continues to guide UASB towards new heights of academic excellence. Your unwavering commitment to fostering a culture of academic rigor and intellectual curiosity is truly inspiring, sir. We are deeply grateful for your presence and continued support at this PG Science Week. I extend a warm and respectful welcome to you, sir. I am delighted to extend warm welcome to our Dean Agriculture and also campus head UAS UAS Bangalore to the 12th edition of PG Science Week. I extend warm welcome to Dean Agri, Dr. N.B. Prakash also. I am honored to welcome present and former officers of UAS Bangalore, heads of the departments of various departments, esteemed faculty members, and dedicated supporting staff gathered here, and also the officers of UAS Mandya, newly formed UAS Mandya. I also extend warm welcome to all the faculty and the officers of UAS Mandya. I take this opportunity to extend warm welcome to our, representatives of our sponsors, such as IFCO Bangalore, Eastward Seeds India Private Limited, SML Limited Agriculture Solutions and Crop Solutions, Subhamangala Agri Inputs, Agri Sure Diagnostics LLT, and also SBL, Agri Tech Solutions. I would like to extend a special welcome to the reviewers and evaluators of student presentations and startup sessions. So definitely your expertise and also your feedback on various presentations will definitely, help in improving the quality of the atmosphere at GKVK campus. A heartfelt thanks to faculty members who have worked with dedication and precision to organize and create events and activities of this Science Week. I also welcome our PG students. I urge all of you to participate 4 days enthusiastically, interact with the evaluators, interact with the speakers, and take full advantage of this Science Week. So definitely you will come up with good ideas. Before we proceed, I would like to take a few moments to share the goals and objectives of Science Week 2025. As highlighted in this short documentary, UASB PG Science Week is an annual event. So this is the 12th edition of the Science Week of UAS Bangalore to showcase the innovative ideas and also the research findings of our postgraduate students, that is outgoing postgraduate students. Initiated in 2024 by the Directorate of Postgraduate Studies, the event has grown steadily in prominence, and now this has widely spread across other universities in the country, and this has been replicated also. Functioning as a true science festival, the event features well-structured schedules and also rigorous evaluation system by the external experts. Its core objectives are mainly to inspire the young minds, foster the development of strong research and communication skills in the field of agriculture and allied sectors. As it was mentioned, this marks the 12th edition of PG Science Week, during the Diamond Jubilee celebration of UAS Bangalore. So adding special significance to the occasion. So during the Science Week, the PhD students, they will be making the oral presentations, while the postgraduate students, they will be presenting poster presentations. Totally, so 450 students, so they will be presenting their findings during 4 days event. In addition to the research presentation, there is a dedicated startup day, that is 13th August 2025, wherein nearly 28 students, both UG and PG students, they will be presenting their new ideas in the field of agriculture, and which will be again evaluated by the experts, and the best ones will be rewarded. The event will feature the concurrent sessions also in this complex, organized into following the groups: crop production group, crop improvement, social sciences, food science and technology, and the plant protection. Each presentations will be assessed again by the subject matter specialist. We are also excited to host special sessions on excitement in science, science for society, opportunities in scientific agriculture. In fact, we have the tradition of inviting our own alumni who have been successful in their own fields for presenting the keynote addresses in the 4 days event. This year, Dr. Samurendra Mohanty, 2024 Top Agri-Food Pioneer, World Food Prize Foundation, USA, Dr. Ganesh Kumar, Global Seed Physiology Innovation Lead, USA, Dr. K. Raghottama, Professor of Horticulture and Landscape Architecture, Purdue University, USA, they will be addressing our students through virtual mode, next 3 days. All these, the PG Science Week will conclude on August 14th, 2025, with the valedictory session graced by Professor G. Jagdish, an eminent, aerodynamic scientist from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. In fact, he is the founding chairman of the Center of Excellence in Hypersonics at Indian Institute of Science. Once again, I welcome you all to the vibrant PG Science Week. Let the celebrations begin. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your warm words of welcome and also for setting the tone of the Science Week 2025 with your insightful opening remarks. I also heartily welcome you too for this program. Thank you. My dear friends, light has always symbolized the wisdom, hope, and awakening. As Pasteur once said, science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity, and it is the torch which illuminates the whole world. So today's lamp lightning marks not just the start of the PG Science Week event, but the spark of ideas to guide us ahead. So I now invite all our dignitaries to join in lighting the lamp, formally inaugurating the Science Week 2025. I thank all the dignitaries for lighting the lamp and marking an auspicious beginning for the Science Week 2025. Science is not just about the ideas. So it's indeed a 4 days of scientific festival we're gonna celebrate in the Science Week 2025 from 11th of this month to 14th. So we have just inaugurated this program officially. I thank all the dignitaries. And now, science is not just about the ideas, my dear friends. It is about documenting them, sharing them, and also allowing them to inspire others. So the compendium of posters and oral presentation abstracts prepared for the Science Week 2025 reflects the hard work and the scientific rigor of our PG students. So it is my privilege to invite our chief guest, Dr. R.C. Agarwal, along with our distinguished dignitaries on the dais to kindly release the compendium of posters for Science Week 2025. I request all of you to put a huge round of applause. This is the compendium of posters of oral presentations and also the poster presentations of 2025 Science Week. For sure, these compendia will serve as a source of knowledge for the upcoming young minds, research minds. I thank all the dignitaries for releasing the compendia. And now it is the time to hear from a leader whose contributions to the agricultural education and policy have shaped the higher learning across the country. We are honored to host the leaders whose journey themselves are the textbooks of dedication and innovation. So now let me introduce our chief guest, Dr. R.C. Agarwal, who has served as the former Deputy Director General of Agricultural Education at ICAR and is currently the National Director of NAHEP, ICAR, New Delhi. It is my honor to invite Dr. R.C. Agarwal to deliver the inaugural talk for the Science Week 2025.
Thank you very much. Honorable Vice Chancellor of this great university, most dynamic Vice Chancellor of our agriculture university system, Dr. Suresa Saab, Dean PGS, Dr. Narayan Swami, Dean Agriculture, Dr. Prakash, esteemed delegate officers of this UAS Bangalore, our lead speaker for today, Velabadi Sam, all senior officers, faculty, and the most intelligent students of this university, most distinguished students of this university. So first of all, I am thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor for giving me this opportunity to deliver this lecture and to come to for this important science week to just have the glimpse of all these, what is happening, the new innovative things which is happening. US Bangalore, which is the beacon of agriculture research, which is really one of the university, most important university of this country, and I think one of the mother of all universities in the state. So to come to this campus is like feeling energetic, like always going with positive energy, going with a lot of knowledge after learning from the students, learning from this Honorable Vice Chancellor. As I was discussing, a lot of new initiatives have been taken for the faculty, for the students, giving the seed money, giving a lot of things. But before I give some points, let me also just compliment the comparer of this program. Where is he? Yes. So really, that kind of communication, that kind of energy, we all have to learn, all these students have to learn. So I really compliment you for wonderful comparing and with so much energy, with so much voice modulation that really we have to learn. And this is the platform where really we have to see. It's not only the science, but also such kind of other things. Friends, let me just begin by complimenting all of you for this Science Week, where you will learn more. You learn more by interacting, you learn more by such kind of interactions, discussions, and by seeing from each other. And that is the platform. And for this, again, I want to compliment Honorable Vice Chancellor, previous Vice Chancellors, for having initiated this important Science Week. I think this concept has spread across the country. It is being implemented in many other universities now, this kind of programs. And personally, I could take part in more than 10 such programs. Last time I was in Tirupati, there also a big Science Week program where they invited even students from other universities. So such kind of really momentum has come out once this program was initiated at this particular campus. So again, my compliments to this great university for initiating this beautiful program. Now, we really feel lucky. We all feel lucky that we are all associated with agriculture, where we can serve the humanity, where really we can serve the society, we can serve the poor, we can serve the farmers, we can serve the environment, because it's all required. And that opportunity, forget the career, forget other kind of things, but the kind of opportunity we have got is really amazing for all of us. For this, if you just see a famous quote, that agriculture is not just about growing the crops. It is about growing the possibilities. A lot of possibilities are there. And further, the ultimate goal of farming is not the growing of crops, but the cultivation and perfection of the human beings. So we feel lucky that we are involved in such profession where we can do such kind of thing. A lot of opportunities exist in this world. So my friends, let us be futuristic thinkers. Let us think what are the challenges ahead. I was reading a book, Understanding the Meaning of 21st Century. Just 2 days back, I completed reading that whole book. And if you see the challenges in this 21st century, I think it is full of challenges, full of technologies. In this 21st century, we have, on day-to-day basis, you can see the technological advancements. But how far we are really prepared for this? Whether you go for genomics, biotechnology, climate change, or any kind of other nanotechnology, you will find on day-to-day basis a lot of advancements happening, a lot of information available to us. Now it is the problem of the information management, not that how to get the information. So that again we have to really see. People say that we are searching the Google. I think you all, the most of the activity daily we do is the searching the Google only. But that is not true. It is not that you are searching the Google, it is the other way around. The Google is searching you. Your complete information is available on the Google. Where you are, I was in a Vice Chancellor conference, And I was discussing just informally to one of the vice chancellor. And I just told that just show me your mobile. And I can just tell you before 5 years back, at 9:30 where you were. And he was really surprised. So everything is being connected. You must have seen that even these stores, the advanced systems, and that's what the new term has come out. And that is like intellect, the artillect. So you will have this artillects. And those artillects are so powerful that they can tell you everything about you. Like a case happened in US, and a lady went to the superstore, and that particular sales girl, she started showing the items related to the newly born baby. She told, I have never asked you about this. She told, no, our database shows that you are expecting next month. So maybe you are looking only for such kind of things. So she was really surprised, and they got all the data from the hospital. They got all the data from the other kind of things which you are purchasing. So that is the kind of privacy. In such information war, in such kind of information era, the knowledge is, that's why we call it knowledge economy. So we have to also see in agriculture that how we can take this knowledge management. In this 21st century, as I was saying, the challenges, if you see, a lot of things. It's not only like in the recent past, you must have seen the people are so much under stress, the countries are so much under stress. Everybody wants to be the superpower. The wars which have happened. So that is again a challenge. How really we have to do the stress management, how really we have to be developed country, but not at the cost of such kind of stress. We have to see that how really this food is provided to everybody. So that means it's not only the food security, it is also the nutrition security. How we can provide all this not at the cost of this environment. So how we have to maintain this environment. And I was, VC sir, I was really surprised to see one figure that we are actually very low in land utilization. If you see the world figures, the average land availability per capita is around 4.5 acres per person in the world level. Whereas in US, if you see, the land availability per person is just 23 acres. But in India, it is quite far, quite below. But still, you see, like we say, we are the golden bird. Still, we are the golden bird. पहले कहते थे कि सोने की चिड़िया भारत है, लेकिन I say today also we are the golden bird. How? You see, have you seen any country having so many diversity in the climate, starting from 52 plus to minus 40, minus 50? Have you seen any country which has so much type of soils, all kind of soils which are available in the world? So many kinds of mountains, so many kinds of species, so many kinds of plants, so many kinds of rivers, so many kinds of coastal area, more than 7,000 kilometers of coastal area. But still, we are not world leader in exports, in agriculture. Like when you talk for the flowers, always people say it is in Netherlands, Dutch flowers. When you talk for something else, except in few crops like rice, basmati, or something. So the students have a lot of opportunities. I just started by saying that it is a field which has a lot of opportunities. You have to just think, what are those opportunities? And really we can become the world leaders in every kind of commodity, because we have every kind of soil, every kind of climate, every kind of environment required for growing any kind of agriculture or floriculture or horticulture or animal species. So looking at that scenario, really, we have a lot of things which we can do. It's not only that we have to search for the jobs, Like, I'm really happy to see that the entrepreneurship or the startups also is being promoted, and they have the special seed money also for that. So that really shows that how this university is taking forward all those things. But it is the students, the responsibility lies on the students, that they have to do this futuristic thinking. I took one lecture at NAM, Hyderabad, when I was heading the institute as a director NAM. And those young professionals, I just told that just have the look at what is the futuristic thinking. Do we ever close our eyes and just think that what is required in the future? How really we can go for adoption of all these technologies and not disturbing this the environment or maintaining the ecology. All those things, really, they are very important. Now, you must have seen there is a very famous book, Factor 4. And in that Factor 4, the author, Mr. Amory Lovins, it is a book in 1997, and the title of the book is Factor 4, Doubling Wealth, having resources, using it. So that means that you have to double the production and using less by half, making half the resource use. So it is Factor 4. And that is one of the very big challenge. It is applicable in agriculture also. That how we can really make less use of the resources, less use of the land resources, less use of water resources, how we can increase the water efficiency, less use of electricity, less use of groundwater, and doubling all those things. So how really we can do it? It's a big challenge. Now people have started talking of Factor 10, that not only Factor 4, but Factor 10. There are clubs for this Factor 10. How really we can go for that? So that is again very important. There are many advancements in agriculture. I think to make our students aware about all these technological advancements, as I was being introduced, under National Agricultural Higher Education Project, we provided opportunity to about 3,000 students to go abroad and to learn about more than 450 new such technologies at a cost of around 200 crores. And about 1,300 faculty to go to 85 countries, and again to know all these things, to submit projects and to teach students all those new things. And it has created a lot of positive impetus. Today, if you see in all universities, you have the new experiential learning units. You have in the Dean's Committee also, we have introduced many new topics. In the BSMA, again, we have introduced many new such technologies. We have taken the technology to a newer heights for this classroom teaching. I think not even a single university exists now in India where you don't have the smart boards, where you don't have this blended learning, where you don't have all these latest tools for teaching, language labs, many such kind of things. And there are many universities which are really innovative, like this particular university for conducting the exams, online exams. I think that was again a model for many other universities, where how without using pen and pencil and paper, you can do everything online, and in a record time you can declare the results. So such kind of thing are just to assist us, so that our precious time we can spend for thinking. We can not for routine kind of things. Like, I think in times to come, there is a lot of change because of this Chat GPT. Now, Chat GPT, what is Chat GPT? So it does a lot of things which are repetitive in nature. And that's why in recent times, you must have seen that many employees are being laid off. Recently, TCS has done for, I think, 15,000 employees. But such kind of things will be there with more and more companies. When they are laying off the employees, can we expect that we get more jobs for our students for those repetitive kind of things? No. So we have to really upscale. We have to really just see that we are not involved in those repetitive kind of things which can be done by the robots, which can be done by the AI, or which can be done by all these artifacts. So this is the time to think. This is the time for the futuristic thinking. In the 21st century, this is the thing which really we have to see. There is a famous study by one of the person who was the Royal Fellow Society member, Mr. Reeves. And he says there are only 50% chances that the Homo sapiens will survive this 21st century. So much. And who is the killer of the Homo sapiens? We ourselves. By creating so much advancements, by creating so much thing, and not thinking for these resources which are available. And another study says that this earth, this Mother Earth, how much population it can cater to. And they say not more than 50 crores. But we are expecting 10 billion. But the available resource where we do not disturb the ecology, where we do not disturb the water resources, where we do not disturb the glaciers, where we do not disturb our bioresources. So the optimum what they say is 50 crores. But we are giving 20 times more load on this earth. So it is again the agriculturists and the young minds like the one who are sitting here who will witness 2047. We are not going to witness 2047. We will not be contributing by that time. But the young minds will do a lot of such things. So there are many challenges, really, which you have to cater. And this is the right opportunity through such programs, science innovations, through which you can really address such things. I will request to my young minds that please also see what are the global challenges. It is not only within our country. What are the latest negotiations which are happening, like the latest one having imposed 50% tariff on Indian exports. So just keep your eyes open and just see the opportunities in every such kind of challenge. That where are the new opportunities where you can get yourself involved. Like I will just tell you, I represented country for more than 20 delegations. And in one of the negotiations, there was a discussion at the room about benefit sharing. And DSI, I think you know, digital sequence information. So under benefit sharing, what happens that once you change physically, once you exchange the material physically, then only the benefit sharing will come to the farmers from the other country. But if you do not change physically, exchange the physically all this material, then there is no question of benefit sharing. But under DSI, the physical exchange is not there. They just take your sequences and they can re-engineer and develop the material developing. So the developed countries are saying that we will not do any kind of benefit sharing. And there was a lot of opposition from the developing countries. Such kind of global issues, what are happening at the WTO, what are happening at the FAO level, what are happening at the TRIPS level. So our students really, they have to be all aware. They must know. And then only you will find what are those opportunities in which you can get involved. Many such kind of things really where you can get yourself involved. So I will just give few tips to my young minds. The first thing is get technical excellence. This is the platform when you are studying, where you can get the technical excellence in your own areas of study, whatever you are studying. So please go through it. And for motivation, I will just tell to the students that please see a 13 minutes video of the Steve Jobs, a convocation speech which he gave at the Stanford University. It's only 13 minutes, most seen video on the YouTube. And he gave the convocation speech in this University of Stanford, where he wanted to study, but he could not pursue his undergraduate. He dropped from there. So he found it very fortunate that he is delivering the convocation address at such university. Really, it's an eye-opener. Just listen to that. The leadership and communication, like I was complimenting the girl who was just giving this, who was doing this comparing. This communication is very important. And this leadership role. I told to my ICR leadership that there is a position of RMP. They say research management positions. I think you know research management positions. I told no, management word should be replaced with leadership. So these are research leader positions, not research management positions. There is a difference between manager and leader. Manager will only work under the leader. So that means like if there is a ladder, so manager knows how to climb the ladder. But he doesn't know whether it's at the right place or not. That only leader will tell you. So the leadership is required. And I request to the students that have that leadership, have that kind of skill among yourself. Adaptability and innovation. This is a lifelong learning. Never think that once your studies are over, you are master of all the things. No. I remember one of the famous quote of Socrates. And I am a very good admirer of Socrates, his teachings. And he says that there are only few people on this earth who knows that they know nothing. I think you all agree with this. We think after studying something that now I am the master of this subject. No. We know only a drop in the ocean. So we have to always learn, upskill our things. Always try to know more and more from other colleagues, from the conferences, workshops, from internet, whatever is available to you. So this sustainability focus, again, you have to just see that how you can embrace this sustainable and regenerative agricultural practices. That again is very important. And such kind of models we have to develop where we do not disturb the ecology, where we do not disturb this environment, where we do not disturb our natural resources. And that's why all kind of research is coming towards that regenerative kind of agriculture. That really we have to see now. Now, this is time for the action. And I think the action through such programs, Science Week, are very important. And I'm sure that such kind of programs will contribute more and more for creating such leaders. And I can find a bright future for all the students. And I can just see that such programs will really become very important and really they will become the torch bearers for other universities. About 15 days back, I was called by the Secretary Education, Ministry of Higher Education, Mr. Binny Joshi, and fortunately, who is also the chairman of the UGC presently. And we had around 2 hours discussion. one-to-one discussion. And he wanted to understand what is this agriculture education. When I explained to him, he was saying that your model is the best model among all other universities. I told that nobody is giving importance to this agriculture education. They think like this agriculture education is at a very low priority. But after listening to me for half an hour, and then we had a discussion, he was really impressed, and he just told that let us introduce like the Dean's Committee. I told Dean's Committee is not the recommendation of the DDG education. It's not the recommendation of the ADGs. It is the recommendation of all the vice chancellors. It's the recommendation of all the agriculture universities. They deliberate. And such kind of system doesn't exist there. And not only the universities, but our other SMDs, our other agriculture institutes of ICR, they also contribute for that. Same thing happens with this experiential learning units. It is not only the universities, but the involvement of the KBKs, involvement of the ICR institutes, involvement of the alumni, and the farmers community connect of the students, this Zabe program, other kind of things. And then he started telling his joint secretaries that let us take priority to this agriculture education, and let us just see that how more and more models can be adopted based on this agriculture education. So again, I say we should feel fortunate that we are involved in such science, and we are involved in such profession where we can really contribute for the upliftment of the society, for making this country the developed country, for making this country the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and making everybody happy and becoming the Vishwaguru in all these things. So thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. And I wish all the best to the students, to the young minds. And once again, thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor for giving me this great opportunity. Thank you all.
With decades of experience in advancing agricultural education, fostering innovation, and mentoring the young researchers like us, Dr. Agarwal has been a guiding force in aligning the academic excellence with the national development goals. Sir, your words have sparked the light for questioning our ability with the present technical advancements. Thank you, and I also thank you for personally encouraging me. It means a lot. Can we hear a big round of applause for the guest speaker of today's inaugural program, Dr. R.C. Agarwal, sir. Thank you. My dear friends, the true strength of any institution lies in the vision of its leadership. A vision that inspires the progress, fosters the innovation, and upholds the highest standards of excellence. Now it is my honor to respectfully invite Dr. S.V. Suresha sir, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore, to deliver the presidential remarks.
Namaskara. Good morning, everybody. Respected the chief guest of today's program, Dr. R.C. Agarwal, the former Deputy Director General ICR, New Delhi. Dr. Belwadi, today's guest speaker. Dr. K.C. Narayan Swami, the Dean PGS and the organizer of this PG Science Week. Dr. Prakash, Dean, College of Agriculture, GKVK. The dear officers of this university. And also, as mentioned, Dr. Narayan Swami, newly created University of Agricultural Sciences, Mandya, Dr. Shiv Kumar. The professors, faculty, and the dear student friends. At the outset, let me compliment the organizers for conducting this beautiful event. At the same time, an useful program in this auditorium. All these years, we used to do it in North Block. But this time they made it or magnified the effect of this PG program in a meaningful way. Whenever they say that this PG Science Week, I remember, as quoted by Dr. Agarwal sir also, the Socrates said, the knowledge speaks, whereas wisdom listens. So both the things happen in this PG Science Week. Whatever that you have gained in your PG program, for your research work you speak, the other wise people will listen to it. And next time it is their turn that they start speak, the rest of the people will listen to it. So both the things happen. That means to say the students who are coming out of here, they are both knowledgeable and also wise. That is what this PG Science Week expects from the students who are presenting their work. And it is a sort of platform. You have completed your PG study and you are about to complete it, and you would like to show it to the university that I have done something worth to add to the knowledge of science or to the knowledge of your discipline or for the society. Ultimately, it should benefit. But in what way it benefit, that depends on the kind of problems that you have selected. And most of the students who are coming out of this, after this PG Science Week, and once they come out of it, always they will be thinking of what next. That is what I always say. If you fear for something, it is likely to occur in your life. If you feel that I cannot face this society, the problems you will get will be more. So kindly, there is no need, and this is the platform where you are gaining confidence to face the people. And Dr. R.C. Agarwal was also mentioning the good qualities are the characteristics, are the parameters on which we judge. And one of it is have confidence on yourself. And throughout your career, the students who are performing better have, you might have observed, it is because of their hard work. Work, work, work. And if you ask me, does it mean that only students who work hard will get the degree? Or the students who didn't work hard will not get the degree? Both of you will get it. But ultimately, it should reflect in the result. That hard work, your patience, your consistency in your work, then your positive attitude, then the self-confidence that always require for pursuing your higher studies. It's not that just simply I'm presenting a thesis, but it is what it contains, the content of it. Whether it is useful to, or you have to find out to whom it is useful. So whenever the research starts, we will come out with different dimensions, out of which one is when you write down or when you take a task, we expect you have to find out the best ways of achieving the desired results out of it. And that responsibility always lies on whom? That is again on the person who has taken the task, that is the researcher. So that is what in a nutshell I can quote or tell you the entire submission of the research or the presentation in your PG Science Week revolves around finding the best ways of getting the desired results for the problems for which you have chosen in your PG. And then that responsibility is yours. You have to show it to us that these are the best ways of achieving the desired results for a particular task. So that will help us. So this PG Science Week, as our chief guest already mentioned, that most of the universities have borrowed it from us. And we should not get satisfied that we have started this program, but always there is a scope for improvement with all of us. We have started a concept of PG Science Week, but how best That is what I was discussing with Dr. K.C. Narayan Swami last week. I said, why don't you make it a open program, a public program? The public program in the sense, why don't you invite the user departments of our PG research work? Maybe development departments, or maybe industries, or maybe startups, or maybe entrepreneurs who are already in the society. And if they are keen and eager to buy and borrow the research outcomes of our students, why don't you tie up with them? So this has become an in-house program for all of us now, this PG Science Week. Instead of that, why don't we make it open for the target group or for the end users of our research work? That is another important thing. And I hope the next year, our PG Science Week may include inviting these stakeholders of our research work. And if somebody interested, let them buy it from our students also. And it's a sort of motivation to the entire student community. So that is what we are thinking it. And at the same time, we are expecting a good research, a dedicated research from the students. But what is that university is doing it for them? And also, for the information of our chief guest, now we started funding or providing financial assistance to the faculty who are publishing their research papers in more than 10 NAS rating. That is with an intention that if it is published in a NAS rated journals, with good high NAS rated journals, that visibility and spread of knowledge will be more in the society. With that, we have taken up that stand also. And wherever, and also we understood certain limitations of publishing these articles in the high NAS rated journals, for which very probably in another 15 days or 20 days, we have already registered the students and the faculty who are interested in getting trained in artificial intelligence and also the Python program. And it will be carried out by a CSR grant where the university is not spending any money on it. But the Samsung is funding this training program where we have an objective of training around 500 students. 500 students this year, and if possible, another 50 faculty also under this program, which will help you to analyze your data, the research outcomes, in a better way or in a more meaningful way, so that you can publish it in a high NAS rated journals. So that also we have done it. And probably the university has not done the best thesis out of these disciplines. Are we doing it, Nataraj, this year? No. Okay. Earlier, the ICR was giving us the Jawaharlal Nehru Student the Thesis Award. In the same way, the university can also consider of doing it and choose maybe out of the different disciplines, or maybe out of different groups, the plant science or something like that. And the mechanisms can be evolved. And it doesn't mean that you are getting the financial assistance. It is sort of only a motivation and a recognition to the students who are doing good work. And this can also be implemented from the next PG Science Week onwards, if possible, from the university, with a little bit of financial assistance as usual. And also, the student startups, as mentioned by Dr. Agarwal, was sharing his information with us during our breakfast meeting. He said, our education system should not make the students to become the employees of any of the organizations. Because now most of the things will be carried out by the artificial intelligence and other mechanisms where the human intervention will get reduced. Sir, just now we have complimented our a girl who is doing this anchoring program here. This is one job where the artificial intelligence cannot take out anything from them. Because we are training our students in most of our platforms. We are giving them an opportunity to compare the program, where that has become a big event in the cities now. The event management or the program comparing itself is an excellent opportunity provided to the students in case if they have that good communication ability, the comprehension ability to present it before the audience. So these kinds of entrepreneurship. And also ultimately, what I expect, any of these things that we are doing it in this PG Science Week, at last when you are coming out, you have released the compendium of the abstracts of their presentation. But at the end, if you can give some 20 to 30 recommendations to the user departments, so that at least let us call them a meeting here, Department of Agriculture, Horticulture, or any other science and development departments, let us call them a meeting here and share our results with them and see that they can also be utilized. And I hope this PG Science Week will serve its purpose for which it was started in 2014, and it has successfully completed almost around 12 PG Science Weeks, and it is of its unique kind. And this time, most of the people have struggled to organize this program in a befitting way. So for which, let me congratulate once again the Directorate of PG Studies, Dr. K.C. Narayan Swami, the Dean PGS, for his efforts in organizing this program in a meaningful way. And also, I take this opportunity to wish my all PG students to have a good presentation and all the best for them. Thank you.
Thank you for the visionary words, sir. Hope we, all the students of UASB, strive for the contribution of the society, perhaps beyond the limit you expected for us to do. Now, ಡಿವಿಜಿಯವರೊಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಮಣ್ಣಿನಿಂದೆದ್ದವನು ಮಣ್ಣಿಗಿಳಿಯುವವನು, ಮಣ್ಣೆಂಬುದು ಶರೀರದ ಗೆರೆ, ಮಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸುವವನಾದರೂ ಮಣ್ಣಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿತ್ತುವನು ಜೀವನದ ಬೀಜವನು ಅಂತ. This reminds us that we rise from the soil, live upon it, and return to it. But in between, we have the secret chance to plant the seeds, not just in the fields, but in the minds and society, one that will sprout into tomorrow's harvest of solutions. So with this optimistic thought, it is now time to formally extend our heartfelt thanks to all who have contributed to the success of this inaugural session. I now invite Dr. N.B. Prakash, Dean Agri, College of Agriculture, GKVK, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. It's my honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks on the occasion of the 12th edition of PG Science Week 2025. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. R.C. Agarwal ji, who has come all the way from New Delhi, mainly to witness the 12th edition of PG Science Week. Sir, your insight and perspectiveness definitely have enriched all of us. And your presence on this occasion means a lot to all of our PG students. And it is significant to the great event which we are hosting in the UAS Bangalore, sir. So on behalf of the University of Agriculture Sciences and on behalf of the entire Directorate of Postgraduate team, let me wholeheartedly thank you, sir. Most important one, as many of us witness this particular 12th edition, which is taking out a lot of innovation in the organization. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor is inspiring person. With his visionary leadership, a lot of changes have happened. Year after year, edition after year, edition, the 12th edition, which is organizing at this particular place, definitely inspiring all the young students here. And definitely, we need to thank you very much, sir, for gracing this occasion and for your address to all our PG students at this moment. I also thank Dr. Belawadi, who is also happens to be my teacher, guru, and who has agreed to participate and present the keynote address for this particular event. Definitely his talk would be enriched to all my
PG and UG students who are in this auditorium. So on behalf of the University of Agriculture Sciences, once again, thankful to you, sir. You know it very well, organizing such kind of event with lot of changes definitely takes a lot of time. The Directorate of Postgraduate Studies with Dr. K.C. Narayanaswamy and all his team members, dedicated team members, who have constantly involved in shaping up this particular event with lot many days, nights, so with so much of thoughtfulness which has gone into mind, because the Science Week, which is happening at UAS Bangalore, is a real confluence of knowledge and collaboration. As you can witness, many of us will be definitely getting benefited. As Kirtana said, it is a discussion week, it is a documentation week, it is a reporting week, so that these young teachers who are all involved in the Directorate of Postgraduate Studies have really made this particular inaugural function as well as the entire program a grand success. So once again, I need to thank you, sir, and the entire your team for this particular event. Organizing this event in this hall with a lot many people who are all online, as I could say, almost 12, 15 persons who are online witnessing this event, and many officers are also present in this particular auditorium, and reviewers, evaluators from different campuses, and faculty members from different universities who are also witnessing this event. So let me also thank each one of you for being with us in witnessing this particular event. And most important ones are the students. Students are the pillars of our university. No doubt, they have to get motivated, inspired, and constantly inspired by the words of all the eminent persons who are actually present in the inauguration program. Definitely this week is a scientific exploration week. No doubt, a motivation week. No doubt, Dr. Arsia Agarwal said it is a technical evaluation week. Whatever you say, inspiring week, innovation week, let this particular week be full of the discussion, reporting, and also documentation. So I wish all the very best for this particular program once again. And I need to thank other important aspect, because this is the first time many sponsors also came forward to sponsor this program. So all these names have been witnessed in the LCD also, IFCO, then SBS, then Biofoundry, and SAI, SML, Eastwood Seed, and others. So on behalf of all of you, please join my hands to thank them also for liberally sponsoring this event. I wish you all the very best. Please involve in an enthusiastic way and inspiring way to make this particular 12th edition of PG Science Week a befitting way of executing or implementing it or organizing it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those gracious words of appreciation. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. N.B. Prakash, sir, on behalf of the organizing committee of PG Science Week 2025. Now, to set the academic tone for the Science Week, we now have the keynote lecture, a session that will plant the question, provoke the debate, and perhaps spark the next breakthrough. Now, I request all the dignitaries to kindly take their seats off the dais to make themselves comfortable to witness the keynote address by Dr. V.V. Belwadi, sir, as he shares his invaluable insights. And right now, I request Dr. Natraj Karba, the professor and head from the Department of Crop Physiology, for moderating this session. Thank you.
Good morning. I know that we are hard pressed for time now. Dr. Belwadi, he's here with us. He already warned me that I should not introduce Dr. Balwadi, with all the stuff what he have, given to us and achieved. But then it's important for the students to know that we have a great speaker today. Therefore, with a great honor and privilege that I introduce Dr. V or Vasuki V. Belwadi, a distinguished scientist in the field of entomology. And Belwadi is a former emeritus scientist, emeritus professor at USB, supported by ICR, and where he also served as a distinguished professor and head of the Department of Entomology here at UAS Bangalore. With a great career spanning over 4 decades, Dr. Belwadi has dedicated his life to advancing science of entomology, and he earned his bachelor's, master's, as well as PhD from this university. And as everybody knows, Dr. Belwadi is an excellent teacher, and he began his professional journey in the year 1985 with the Agriculture Research Service at Central Agriculture Research Institute, Port Blair, Andaman Nicobar Islands. And later he joined USB as assistant entomologist at the Zonal Agriculture Research Station, Mudigere. Since then, he has held several key academic as well as research positions, including Associate Director of Research at USB, Chief Scientific Officer Entomology, and contributed significantly to teaching, research, and extension activities in the university here at Bangalore. A fellow of Royal Entomological Society, London, Dr. Belwadi has served as a consultant to several international initiatives under FAO and UNEP, especially in pollination biology. He is a well-known pollination biologist. When he was at FAO visiting, when he was an FAO visiting fellow at University of Southampton, UK, in 1995, and a consultant, he also served as a consultant for Global Pollination Project at FAO Rome. He significantly contributed for the pollination related research, not only in India as well as abroad. Belwadi has mentored many master's students, more than 15, and 12 PhD scholars, led more than 10 research projects in diverse fields of pollination biology, supported by national as well as international agencies. I just mentioned that he is a good teacher, and I just want to mention that he has played a pivotal role in organizing key scientific events such as Asian Bee Meets and international webinar series on pollination and promoting global knowledge. I know that he will not allow me to complete the story what I have with me, but then we must mention that with over 140 research publications, 25 popular articles, and numerous extension materials to his credit, Belwadi contributions have actually left a lasting impact in the field of entomology and pollination biology. Please join me in welcoming Professor Belwadi for this particular talk. Let's now look forward to his inspiring talk on matchmakers in nature. And let's know what he would like to present as a part of 12th edition of PG Science Week 2025. Welcome you, sir.
I don't know. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Nataraj, for introducing me. I think it was too much, whatever he told about me. Now, before going to my talk, actually, he told that I'll be speaking about matchmakers in nature. Before that, I'd like to tell a little bit about this Science Week, how it originated and how it was developed. I have put it as origin and evolution of PG Science Week. About 12 years ago, before I think around 2000, before 2013, almost nobody in the university knew anything about postgraduate research, except the student, his or her guide, and a few members of the advisory committee. That was the situation. Hardly any student cared to learn what the other students were working on, even in his own department. So that was the kind of a situation we were in. And we never cared to know about the PG research, even in our neighboring departments. So this was what the university in, I think, 2012, around that time. Now, it was in 2013 that the then Dean of Postgraduate Studies, Dr. C. Vasudevappa, came out with the idea of showcasing PG research. So he thought that if we invite the PG students and then ask them to discuss about that with all others, I think people would know better. They will know what is going on in the university in the PG research. And in 2014, this idea was efficiently brought forward by Dr. K.N. Ganeshaya, who was the Dean Postgraduate Studies at that time. And he organized poster presentations by senior MSc students. That was the first thing that was done. And it was the first PG poster symposium, which was held on 15th and 16th May in 2014. So I think you have already heard that 2014 was the beginning of this PG Science Week. So in the poster symposium, in fact, we could see that the students enjoyed speaking about their work, explaining to visitors about the way they conduct their research, the methods they followed, the way they analyzed. And it was really wonderful to see the enthusiasm of the students during that poster presentation. And the Directorate of Postgraduate Studies had brought in a change which was welcomed by one and all. So that was the beginning. And in 2015, there was a slight improvement over this. In addition to poster presentations by senior MSc students, the PhD students, the third-year PhD students were asked to make a presentation of their research paper based on their own research work in the PhD research work. And the presented papers were published as a special issue in the Mysore Journal of Agricultural Sciences, and I think it is even continued to date. And a compendium of the poster presentations was also brought out. I think this was the first compendium that was brought out in 2015. And this was the beginning of the celebration of Science Week. So this is how the Science Week started. So I thought you should be knowing about this. Now, in fact, Dr. K.N. Ganeshaya was the one who started this. He had a small team with him, which included Umashankar, Kumar, Chandru, Natraj, and myself. I am proud to say that I was also part of this team. But around 2018 or so, most of us retired, and it is only Natraj Karba who has remained from the team, and he has his own team now to conduct this thing. I think it is going on very well. So I hope you will enjoy the Science Week 2025 and then learn a lot of new things in science during this Science Week also. So now, with your permission, I'll move on to my main talk. So I said I'll be speaking about matchmakers in nature. So I hope the students, they know what is a matchmaker, right? So since most of you are completing your PhD, you are completing your MSc, and I think in your parents must be already searching for an ideal match for you, right? So unless you yourself have found one, right? So, and in nature, there are many matchmakers. For example, a bee goes to a flower and then asks it, I have found an ideal match for you. Are you interested? Then the flower might be confused and then might think whether to say yes or no, right? So matchmakers are there in nature, and why do we think that the plants need matchmakers? So this is the question that may come to us. And in fact, in 2014, Dr. Dave Goulson, he came out with a wonderful book, A Sting in the Tail, in which he wrote that for plants, sex has always been difficult because they cannot move. For plants, the sex has always been difficult because they cannot move. And if one cannot move, then finding a suitable partner for reproduction becomes almost impossible. And so plants need, they have to depend on a matchmaker. So they need a matchmaker. So that is the thing. The pollinators are the best matchmakers for plants. So this is how I want to start this talk. Now, in today's talk, I'll be giving a little bit about the evolution of plant-pollinator relationships. Then, to highlight the point of the importance of pollinators, I'll be using two examples. And then I will also tell a little bit about the economics of pollination service, why we should be worried about the economics of pollination service, or why we have to give a value for pollination. I have put a disclaimer here because some of you might have heard my earlier talks, and then if some of the slides that I am projecting are repeated, you have already seen, kindly bear with me. I have some different things also to say, some different stories to say. So coming to the evolution of plant-pollinator relationships, how it all started. In fact, around 4,500 million years ago, Earth originated, and life originated about 3,800 million years ago on this planet as microbes, as a single-celled microbe. And the first plants appeared about 650 million years ago in the sea. And the land plants appeared about 425 million years ago. And insects appeared around 400 million years ago. So insects have come, and then insects developed wings. By 350 million years ago, we have the winged insects. And coming back to the plants, gymnosperms appeared around 300 million years ago, and angiosperms, that is the flowering plants, appeared around 140 million years ago. So when these flowering plants and these plants have appeared, already there were insects, and then insects have started feeding on these plants. And a few insects actually found that the pollen that is available on the flowers are also edible and they are nutritious. So they started feeding on these pollen grains around 135 million years ago. Actually, some beetles, they were the first insects which discovered these pollen grains, and then they started feeding on the pollen grains. And for feeding on the pollen grains, they started moving from flower to flower, from plant to plant, in search of the pollen. And in the course of time, by chance, the pollen grains, some pollen grains that is sticking onto the body of these insects, they fell on the female part of a flower, and that flower was pollinated. And this was the beginning of insect pollination. So this is how the insect pollination started. Now, plants were benefited since pollination was assured, and in order to attract insects, they had to get better, or they had to advertise their flowers. Because you all know that flowers are the modifications of the foliage. So the earliest flowers were also greenish in color, and so it was difficult for those insects which were searching for pollen to locate the flower. So probably through a mutation, there was a different colored flower that has emerged, and then that got selected. So that's how the selection for flower color started. Okay. Now, when plants started offering nectar, sugary nectar, more and more insects were attracted to the plants for visiting flowers. And around this time, bees appeared. Around 110 million years ago, bees appeared on this earth. And with the appearance of the bees, the plants started competing for attracting these pollinators, resulting in flowers of different colors, different shapes, and sizes. Now, this was a very interesting phase on Earth. Around 100 million years ago, there was a sudden spurt in speciation among flowering plants. There was a sudden increase in the total number of species of flowering plants on Earth. This is referred to as angiosperm radiation or Cretaceous terrestrial radiation revolution. So this was the time when we started getting different colored flowers, different shapes of colors, and the flowers of different kinds. Each species had a different kind of flower. Even if you just go out of this hall and then look at the different plants that are around, you see that each plant has a different kind of a flower, and that is mainly for attracting the pollinators. So this is also referred to as pollinator-mediated speciation in plants. So if we have so much of diversity among plants, we should thank the pollinators. It is because of the pollinators we have so many kinds of plants around us. Now today there are nearly 300,000 species of plants on Earth. Okay? And nearly 90% of the species entirely or partially depend on insects for their reproduction, for setting seeds. So that is the thing. And to tell briefly about the importance of pollinators and pollination, you see that the pollination is an essential service to crops and wild plants for their reproduction. Without them, they cannot reproduce. And they are the vectors of genetic exchange. Pollinators are the vectors of genetic exchange. And because of the pollinators, because of this cross-pollination, you see variations in populations. Variations lead to selection. Selection leads to speciation. So this is what is happening on Earth, and that's the reason why we have so many species. And we also have essential obligate mutualisms. There are several examples for obligate mutualisms, and one of the best examples is the example of fig and the fig wasp. The fig and the fig wasps cannot live without one another. A fig cannot survive without a fig wasp, and fig wasps cannot survive without figs. There are as many species of fig wasps, figs, there are so many species of fig wasps also. Okay? And they also provide other ecosystem surveys, like in the wild, there are so many plants, so many shrubs and trees. They will be producing flowers and then fruits, they become fruits. And these fruits are eaten by several species of birds and animals for their own survival. And that is the kind of an ecosystem surveys that the pollinators are doing. And all this leads to increase in biodiversity. They have a biodiversity value also. Okay. Now, when we think of pollinators and pollination, one of the myths that we have, or one of the beliefs that we have, is that pollinator means it is only bees. We think of only bees, and that too only honeybees. But there are only a dozen species of honeybees in the world, but there are more than 20,000 species of bees. It's not just, they may not be honeybees, but they are all excellent pollinators. They may not be giving us honey, but they do pollinate our crops and also our wild plants, and they have a very crucial role in the diversity of plants that we have. And in addition to these bees, we also have many other pollinators, like we have the flies. There are several species of flies which are very important pollinators. There are beetles, there are butterflies, there are moths, there are birds, there are bats, and there are even monkeys which are pollinators of certain crops. So all these pollinators are important. It is not, when we are talking about conservation of pollinators, it is not that we have to conserve only bees or honeybees. We have to conserve pollinators as a whole. All pollinators we should take into consideration. So for highlighting the importance of pollinators, I'm going to tell you two stories. Okay. One is the story of chocolates, okay? And the second is the story of Cinderella's coach. These are the two stories I'll be telling. I hope you will bear with me. So the story of chocolates. Who does not like chocolate? In the audience, is there anybody who does not like chocolates? Everybody, I think you do like chocolates, right? So, and you cannot imagine a world without chocolates. Okay, so there is some problem, I think. So it's almost impossible to imagine a world without chocolates. So there are over 18,000 chocolate companies in the world. Did you know this? There are more than 18,000 chocolate companies in the world, and Cadbury, a British company, is the most popular company. And this is a company which came to India in 1948, and this has many factories in India. Many Cadbury chocolate company factories are there. Presently, Cadbury company is owned by Mondelez International, but have retained the trade name Cadbury because that had become very popular. Now, the net worth of Cadbury chocolates is 3.83 billion US dollars. This is the net worth of just the Cadbury chocolates. Okay, and there are many other companies like Nestle, Amul, and many, etc. There are so many companies around the world, even which are making chocolates. And the global chocolate industry is worth more than 100 billion US dollars. So this is the worth of chocolate companies in the world. Now, the question is, from where do chocolate companies get their raw material? Okay, you all might be knowing that it comes from cocoa plants. Okay, it comes from cocoa. The cocoa plant produces these pods. The pods have cocoa beans, and the cocoa beans are processed to make chocolates. The chocolates are made like this. Now, what is cocoa? Cocoa is Theobroma cacao. It belongs to the family Malvaceae. Earlier, it was with Sterculiaceae. Sterculiaceae is now put under Malvaceae. Okay. Now, Linnaeus, he named this cocoa as Theobroma cacao because Theobroma means food of gods, okay, God's food. So cocoa is God's food. That's what he thought, and then he named it as the food of gods. And it is native to South America, originated in the Amazonian region, in the upper Amazonian region. And it was domesticated about 5,000 years ago, and it has spread across the equator 10 degrees north and south of the equator. It is cultivated in India, Africa, Central and South America. So these are the places where most of the cultivation of cardamom, not just India, it is Asia, I should say. Asia, Africa, African countries, and also South America and Central America. Now, how many of you have seen this? Theobroma Cafe. It is right in Yelahanka next to our campus. Okay, this is Theobroma Cafe, which is there in Yelahanka. I think you should visit and have a chocolate cake there. Okay, so the global area under cocoa is 11.5 million hectares. The major countries, there are several countries which cultivate, and mainly the African countries. So the world the area of cocoa in the world is about 11.5, and in Africa you have nearly 7.9 million hectares. That means majority of the area is in Africa. Though cocoa originated in South America, majority of the area that is cultivated is in Africa, in African countries. That too, mainly in Ivory Coast and Ghana. So when it comes to the production, the total production is about 5 million tons, of which more than 75% of the production comes from Africa again. Now, the African countries, mainly Ivory Coast and Ghana, earn a lot of money by exporting cocoa beans. Ivory Coast earns about $3,300 million every year, and Ghana earns about $1,000 million every year by exporting cocoa. It is exported, the beans are exported to mainly America, United States, Europe, and Australia. These are the countries which import cocoa. In India, the total area under cocoa is 103,000 hectares, and the production is 27,000 tons, and it is cultivated in Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Now, let's know a little bit about the plant. And cocoa is traditionally cultivated under the shade of trees, but in some parts of Africa, it is also cultivated without shade. And it starts flowering 2 to 3 years after planting. And flowers are produced in groups on the main stem or in the main branches. And this system is called as cauliflory, which is also seen in case of jackfruit. Jackfruit trees also bear their flowers on the main stem. And the part of the stem that bears flowers swells to form flower cushions, and the pollinated flowers develop into pods. Okay, so that is the thing. Then coming to the flowers throughout the year, the cocoa plant flowers throughout the year with 2 peaks in September, January, and also April to July. Then a mature plant produces 6 to 10,000 flowers in a year. But there are a lot of discrepancy in the number of flowers that are produced per plant per year. There are publications which say that a single plant can produce up to about 120,000 flowers, okay, which is very, very huge number. But this is the most common thing. They say that some papers say it is 5,000 flowers, 6,000 flowers, or something like 10,000 flowers. And the flowers are very small. And the anthesis, that is the flower opening, is in the evening or in the night times. Now, there are 5 stamens with bilobed anthers enclosed in petals like a pouch. It covers the base of the petal. It covers the anthers, and in each flower there will be something like 14,000 pollen grains per flower. But the pollen grains are sticky. The best part is the sticky pollen grains means it cannot be wind pollinated. It cannot be carried by the wind. It has to be carried by a flower visitor. A flower visitor should come there, and then the pollen grains get stuck to the body of the flower visitor, and then it is taken to other flowers. So it is made for that. Then the style is longer, and stigma is placed above the anthers. The staminodes also cover the stigma, and the number of ovules range from 40 to 70 depending on the variety. Now, interesting thing here is there is no ample nectar that is available in the flowers, not much nectar. The nectaries are referred to as micronectaries, and only very minute drops of nectar is only available, and that is the reason it is neglected, but it is not visited by many honeybees. Now, the cocoa is also auto-incompatible. That it's not just incompatible, it is auto-incompatible in the sense that the pollen grains from a flower cannot fertilize another flower on the same plant. Okay, it has to come from a different plant. The pollen grains have to come from a different plant. So a flower visitor should be able to visit between plants. It is not just between flowers, even though there are so many flowers in a single plant. And it is protandrous. That means the pollen dehiscence is on the first day. Pollen matures on the first day, and the stigma is receptive on the second and third day. So when the pollen on a flower is maturing, the stigma is not yet mature. The stigma becomes mature, or it is receptive only on the second and the third days. And the flower longevity, depending on the variety, it is 48 to 70 days. It is usually 72 hours. So the insect, coming to the insect visitors, what are the insects which can pollinate these? There are ants which visit the flowers. There are plenty of ants. There are aphids. And there are also stingless bees which do visit the flowers. And there are tiny flies which are called midges, Ceratopogonidae. These belong to the family Ceratopogonidae. And these tiny flies are the ones which more frequently visit these flowers. So when they looked at the efficiency of pollination by these insects, they found that though flowers are visited by several insects, there is no evidence to prove that ants and aphids or even thrips can actually pollinate the flowers because they do not move between plants. Then stingless bees, in some places, they are found to be frequent visitors in Colombia, in South America, but it has not been proved that whether stingless bees can actually pollinate because they are only collecting pollen. They will not be collecting any nectar or not spending much time inside. Then only tiny flies of the midges of the family Ceratopogonidae, mainly Forcipomia species, these are the ones which have been proved to be efficient pollinators of cocoa. Very systematic experiments have been conducted in Ghana by a group led by Kwapang et al. For several years, for more than a decade, they have worked on this to prove that these Forcipomia species are the pollinators of this cocoa. Because they have done very continuous experiments by allowing only these midges and not allowing the midges, allowing other insects. So all these kinds of experiments they have done with different treatments, and then they have proved that it is only these flies which are important pollinators of this. And this has been recorded even in India. One group led by Suganthi et al. From Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, they have also recorded these Forcipomia species in India as pollinators of cocoa. Now, to tell a bit about Forcipomia, these midges occur in cocoa plantations year-round. They are found throughout the year, and the largest populations occur in the rainy season. They lay eggs on moist, decomposing wood, cocoa husks, and other debris, and in batches of about 40 to 90 eggs. And the life cycle is completed in about 20 days, and the maximum lifespan of adults is just 8 days. And Forcipomia, it completes more than 12 generations in a year. It is there throughout the year. Now, after emergence, both sexes visit the cocoa flowers, but males appear to be more efficient as pollinators. And again, Kwapang's group, they believe that they do have data for this. They say that males are more frequent visitors of flowers, not only for taking the micro droplets of nectar, but also in search of females. They are in search of mates, and then so they will be moving between plants more frequently, and that is the reason why they may be more efficient pollinators. And a midge, upon landing on the staminode, it moves on the below the petal goes to the anthers and then feeds on the nectar, and also they'll be feeding on the pollen also and collecting pollen, and then they move to the body is structured in such a way that there are hairs on which the pollen gets stuck, and then when they move to the another flower on another plant, it gets dislodged, and that's how the pollination occurs. But there is one problem with all this, because it appears that the percent fruit set is very low. So when some detailed studies were conducted, they actually counted all the flowers that are produced in the whole year, and then they found that only about 35% are pollinated. In the sense, the pollen is deposited on the stigma of the flower. Okay, and only 8% are fertilized actually, and only 1.5% only fruit set. So the fruit set is very, very low. But even though it is very low, the total number of flowers produced is 5,000, and 1.5% means it is 75 fruits. So I thought that it is good enough. But 75 fruits for the whole year, most of the farmers, most of the actual cocoa workers, they think that it is very, very low. And so they thought that, is there a way of increasing this fruit set? Because the fruit set is possibly low due to small numbers of pollinators compared to the number of flowers that are available. So this is something they thought of. And there was also one trial in which they tried the hand pollination. With hand pollination, they could actually double or even triple the yield. So Hernandez et al., they actually did different kinds of hand pollination. Like, it is not that all the flowers ought to be hand pollinated. They selected only 20% of the flowers, 40%, 80%, and 100% of the flowers. Like this, they did the pollination studies, and then they found that even just 20% of the flowers, if they do hand pollination, they can double the setting. But hand pollination, in fact, is very costly. It costs about $1,170 per hectare. So because of the use of the labor that is spent. So can pollinator density be increased? Another point is this. So it is important to understand the breeding mechanism of the pollinator, and this also has been done by the Kopang's group in Ghana. So they found that Forsythia breeds in decomposing leaf litter and fruit waste, and then they asked a question, so by providing enough decomposing material within cocoa plantations, can we increase the pollinator populations? So this was the thing that they thought of. And then will spreading litter and maintaining them at the base of cocoa plants help in increasing breeding site, and so they can increase the populations of these midges. So they conducted an experiment with banana pseudostems, cocoa pod husks, and leaf litter, which are placed at the base of the cocoa plants as breeding material for the midges. And then they found a significant increase. It was found that midge population increased by more than 4 times over control, and fruit set was nearly 3 times higher with banana pseudostems. So this is the kind of a thing that has been done. So cocoa flowers are auto self-incompatible and need matchmakers for pollen transfer. And the best matchmakers are the Forsythia species. And since pollinator populations are low, the natural pot set is also low, and pollinator population can be increased significantly by increasing breeding sites within the plantation. So this is the thing about cocoa pollination. Now, interestingly, farmers in Ghana call these tiny flies as kuku kunu, literally meaning husband of cocoa. So this is what the farmers call in Ghana. So next time when you have a chocolate, think of a fly. Okay, it is because of the fly you are getting the chocolate. So next I'll move on to the story of Cinderella's coach. So you all might be knowing what is Cinderella's coach. Cinderella's coach actually refers to pumpkin, right? So it is a pumpkin which is made as a coach, and in that Cinderella sits and then goes for a party hosted by the prince. So this is the legend that is there. But I'm not talking about pumpkin. I'm going to talk about a relative of pumpkin, that is muskmelon. Muskmelon population I'll be talking about. So muskmelon is Cucumis mellow, belongs to Cucurbitaceae, and its origin again is Africa or Egypt, widely cultivated in Iran and India and Central Asia. Then in India, it has an area of about 70,000 hectares and production is 9.62 lakh tons. Now, this work, really, it's okay, is one of my MSc students' work, which I am presenting. And I think students should be happy about this, what kind of a work an MSc student could do. So muskmelon is andromonaceous, means there are two types of flowers are there in muskmelon. There are hermaphrodite flowers and also staminate flowers. So that is the hermaphrodite flower. This is the hermaphrodite flower, which actually is the one which has both male and female parts, and the ovary develops into the fruit. And the staminate flowers are the male flowers, which has only the male part, only the stamens are there, only the pollen grains are produced in this. Now, there are 3 species of honeybees and several solitary bees that visit these flowers, the flowers of muskmelon, but mainly it is Apis florea and Apis cerana. So Apis florea is the little bee, Apis cerana is the hive bee that we keep, and these are the most efficient and the most frequent flower visitors and most efficient pollinators of muskmelon. So in the beginning, when we started this work, when we thought of this work, we asked a couple of questions. So the first question is, why there are staminate flowers when hermaphrodite flowers are there? So hermaphrodite flower is there, it has the stamen, it is producing pollen grains. So when the pollen grains are produced within a hermaphrodite flower, why there is a need for a staminate flower? Then the second is there any difference between the pollen grains from hermaphrodite flowers and those from staminate flowers? So these are 2 very basic questions we asked before starting this work. And when we looked at the ratio between the staminate and hermaphrodite flowers, we found that the ratio is about 18:1. That means for every hermaphrodite flower, there will be 18 staminate flowers. So in one plant, if there are 530 staminate flowers, there will be only 30 hermaphrodite flowers. Okay. Now, if you look at the stamens of these 2 flowers, you see that the pollen abundance, the pollen is more abundant in staminate flowers compared to the pollen in hermaphrodite flowers. The pollen in hermaphrodite in staminate flowers is about 5,000 per flower, whereas it is just about 2,700 in hermaphrodite flower. And both the pollen grains are viable. That means they do germinate. The difference is slight. It's about 42% in staminate flowers, and in pollen from hermaphrodite flower, it is about 30%. But the interesting thing is, once the pollen germinates, it does not continue to grow in case of the pollen from hermaphrodite flower. It stops growing. After it is dropped on the stigma, it germinates, but it stops growing within about 1.2 micrometers. It does not grow beyond that. But the pollen from the staminate flowers, it continues to grow beyond 8 micrometers. So the nearest, or the length of the style is about 6 micrometers, and the first ovule that is available is at 6.5 micrometers. So there is no way in which the pollen tube from the pollen from hermaphrodite flowers can fertilize the ovule, any ovule. So pollen from hermaphrodite flower cannot fertilize a ovule because the pollen tube stops growing. Then we did a field experiment in which we had different treatments like open pollination, selfing, bagging, and then pollen from one hermaphrodite flower to another hermaphrodite flower, placing it on the stigma. All this was done by hand pollination, and then the pollen from staminate flowers. So the pollen from staminate flowers transferred onto the stigma of a hermaphrodite flower, selected hermaphrodite flowers. So we found that the setting was only in open pollination, and then in case of the treatment with pollen from staminate flower. So others, there was absolutely no setting. So what is the purpose of pollen from hermaphrodite flowers if it is not used for fertilization at all? So this is the question that remained. Then we did some emasculation studies where for selected hermaphrodite flowers, we removed the stamens, okay, emasculated them, and then let it for the visitation for open pollination. And then there was pollination, there was fruit set in the emasculated flowers also, but it was slightly lesser compared to the normal hermaphrodite flowers. But interestingly, the number of seeds that were there in emasculated hermaphrodite flower produced fruits is significantly lesser compared to the normal hermaphrodite flower. So why the difference in fruit set and seed number is the male part in hermaphrodite flower is helping in some way. So this is the following question. Then we observed the behavior of the flower visitors. What happens when the flower visitors visit? What happens there? What do they do? Then both the Epicerana and Apis florea bees, the visitation, we observed the behavior, the time that they spent per flower. We found that the time spent by a bee is significantly higher in a normal hermaphrodite flower compared to an emasculated hermaphrodite flower. That means in the normal hermaphrodite flower, it is spending more time for something, searching for something. And then in the emasculated flower, there is nothing for it to search, so it just leaves the flower early. And it also resulted in lower pollen deposition on the stigma also, significantly lower pollen deposition on the stigma also. So in normal flowers, bees spent more time as they also collected the pollen, and pollinators spent less time in emasculated flowers. So the thing is, muskmelon being andromonaceous, it requires bees for pollination and fruit set. And the male part of the hermaphrodite flower makes bees to spend more time in the flower and increases the probability of pollination. And though pollen grains are produced in hermaphrodite flowers, they are not involved in fertilization of ovules, and these pollen grains are probably carried by the bees as reward to their hives. Now, this is the paper that was published as a result of this work in an international journal, and he is the student, Revant Siddha, who did this work. So this is a wonderful work, and Revant Siddha also completed his PhD. This was done in 2019, and he completed his PhD also, and presently he is working as a scientist at ARS scientist at IIPR, Indian Institute of Pulse Research in Kanpur. Okay, next I'll move on to the third point, the economic valuation of pollination service. Now, there are so many pollinators, there are so many flowers around us, so many crops we cultivate, and then which depend on pollinators. And is there a need to value the pollination service? Now, in fact, Schumacher, a very famous economist, in 1973, he published a book, Small is Beautiful, in which he talks about economics as if people mattered. And in this book, he coins the term natural capital for the services we get from nature, to drive home the point that natural resources are to be treated as capitals, and we should only use the principal that is earned from the capital, and we should not overuse the capital. So this is what he makes. And he also used the term economic services, and the term ecosystem services became more common since 1970s. And pollination is an ecosystem service. Pollination is an ecosystem service, and we have to be concerned about that. Because nearly 80% of all cultivated crops in the world depend on insects for pollination and to produce seeds. And pollinators are responsible for 35% of the global food production, according to Klein. So 35% of the global food production directly depends on pollinators. Now, in fact, McGregor has said that for 1 in every 3 bites of food we eat, we should thank pollinators. So it is very important that we worry about pollinators. Annual economic value of pollination service worldwide is about $800 billion US. This is the annual economic value of pollination service. And this cartoon very clearly says that a bee goes to a landlord asking for money. Okay, I am the pollinator, I have done the service and I am not being paid. So which is very true because we take pollinators for granted, right? Now, Pawan Sukhdev, a very famous economist with the United Nations, in one of his TEEB reports, he writes that not a single bee has ever sent you an invoice, and that is part of the problem, because most of what comes to us from nature is free, because it is not invoiced, because it is not priced, because it is not traded in markets, we tend to ignore it. So this is a very famous statement that was made by Pawan Sukhdev, and we consider pollination as a free ecosystem service. Now, why is it necessary to put a value for the pollination service? Why is there a need for this? It's because we have to conserve the pollinators. What we have to conserve, why we have to conserve, for that we need a value for the service that we are getting, and for conserving their nesting habitats, for conserving biodiversity, and more importantly, for convincing the policymakers. So policymakers will understand only in terms of money. So that is the reason why we have to put a tag of money to the pollination service that we are getting for conservation programs. So EVP, or economic value of pollination service, is easily calculated. It can be calculated by what is called a PDI into PR into V, where PDI is pollinator dependency index, PR is production, and then V is the market value per unit. This can be calculated for a unit area, for a state, for a district, or for a nation, or for the entire world also, if we have all the data with us. Now, the pollinator dependency index varies from 0.05 to 0.95. This has been worked out by the Food and Agriculture Organization. And we have, if there is no impact of the pollinator on the production, it is 0. If the impact is low, that is less than 10%, it is 0.05. If it is modest, it is 25 to 40%, it is 0.25. And if it is high, more than 50%, it is 0.65. And if it is essential, that means if the plant is not setting any fruit, any seed without the pollinator, if the pollinator is essential, then it is 0.95. And this has to be determined for every crop by pollinator exclusion study. It has to be conducted experimentally and then proved. And the same examples which I dealt with in today, that is cocoa and muskmelon, I am using here as case studies for finding the value of the pollination service for India. That is, total production in India is 27,000 tons, and the unit price is 1,000 rupees per kg. The cocoa beans is sold at 1,000 rupees per kg, and the pollination dependency is 0.95, because without the pollinators, without Forcipomia species, it does not set. So it is 0.95. And the value of pollination service, it comes to 2,565 crores. You can imagine how important it is. If the pollinator is not there, we won't get any pod. So in muskmelon again, the total production is 9,62,000 tons, and the unit price is 32,000 rupees per ton. And again, the pollination dependency here also is 0.95, and the value of pollination service is 2,900 crores. So this is the amount that we are getting out of the pollination service. And we have worked this out for many other crops, including cardamom, coffee, pigeon pea, bitter gourd, brinjal, and guava. And it comes to about 33,962 crores. For just these 6 or 7 crops, this is the total value of the pollination service that we are getting. So it is not just money, but the actual value lies in the biodiversity that is conserved when bees and other pollinators are protected. And by conserving pollinators, let us enhance our nutritional security and also save nature. So with pollinators, a vegetable and fruit shop may look like this. And if we do not conserve pollinators, and if we do not have any pollinators, it may appear like this without pollinators. So pollination is an ecosystem service that is not to be taken for granted. And this is my team of students who worked on various crops, on various aspects of this, and they are all settled. Most of them are settled in different places, and they're all doing a good job. Thank you. Any questions from students? I see very few students this day. Yeah.
We can probably take few questions at the end.
Yeah.
Now that we have other parallel sessions
Okay.
going on, so
Yeah.
we will bother you later again.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you for
Yes.
scintillating and informative talk, sir. We'll continue with other activity. Thank you.
I thank Dr. V.V. Belwadi sir for such an eye-opening keynote. Can I have a huge round of applause for his inaugural talk? I also thank Dr. Nataraj Karba sir for moderating this session. And right now, I request our Honorable VC and Registrar and Dean PGS, Dean Agri sir, and also R.C. Agarwal sir to please come upon the dais to felicitate the guest speaker of today. I request R.R. Belwadi sir to please come upon the dais in order to receive the token of appreciation. So with this inaugural program and talk, we have officially kickstarted the PG Science Week 2025. So we have yet 3 more days to enjoy the scientific festival of ideas. We are yet on the journey. And right now, let me brief you about the upcoming events. We'll be having the oral presentations in the meeting hall 4 and 5 of the first floor of this convention center, and also the poster presentations in the ground hall lobby of this convention center. Now I request Dr. V.V. Belwadi sir. Now I request our chief guest of today's Science Week program, Dr. R.C. Agarwal sir, to please receive the token of appreciation. I request all the dignitaries to join the hands in order to felicitate Dr. R.C. Agarwal sir, who is the National Director of NAHEP ICAR. A huge round of applause for his presence and also the thought-provoking words during his speech. I thank Dr. R.C. Agarwal sir for receiving the token of appreciation. Now I request Dr. V.V. Belwadi sir to please receive the token of appreciation. He is the former head of the Department of Entomology of the University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore Entomology Department. It was a pleasure having you for this inaugural program, and it was a special talk by you, sir. Thank you once again on behalf of the organizing committee team of PG Science Week. I thank all the dignitaries for felicitating and also the special guest speakers for receiving the felicitation. Thank you one and all. And with this official kickstart, I wish a very all the best for all the masters and PhD students for their oral presentation as well as the poster presentations. And I make a heartfelt thank to all the dignitaries, to all the eminent scientists, all the people who are present here for making this inaugural program a very grand success. Thank you once again to one and all. heartfelt thanks. With just a kind note to all the students right out there, tomorrow the program will begin at 9:30 a.m. sharp and the venue will be at the North Block Auditorium. So your presence is expected without fail to all the masters and PhD students without fail. Thank you. With this, we are officially signing off the inaugural program of PG Science Week. Thank you.